Welcome everyone, one and all. This is the 20th episode of the Unbanned podcast, and we have something to say. Not yet, Justin.
Do it now.
Oh.
And this week, we're doing something a little bit different. Instead of unbanning a card, Justin, what are you banning this week?
I'm banning Snapcaster Mage.
And Jordan, what's your ban for the week?
Well, it was a tough call between my two, but I think we need a ban to Fairy Time Raveler. Because if I can't play instant speed, no one gets to play as instant speed. Except, wait, no, it's a Fairy just... It makes it so that I can't counter things.
And as for me, I'm gonna ban me some Tron lands.
No!
Never in my whole life has I ever seen one of those on the battlefield and said, this is going to be a fun game of Magic.
But which Tron land?
All of them. My name's Jake, and I'm here with my two best buds in the world, Justin.
That's me.
And Jordan.
I am Jordan.
And this week, it's our 20th episode, so I decided we might do something a little bit different. Definitely didn't have anything to do with the fact that Jordan and I have been secluded, sequestered, hiding in our rooms playing MTGO, because we're trying to practice for Phoenix and not doing a lot else.
I just want to qualify for the Players Tour, that's all.
Just a simple thing.
Simple, yeah.
I can have a little Players Tour.
As a treat. Since we're memeing this episode, can I break out the Tron meme?
You can break out whatever meme you want, man.
Okay, so I'm going to teach y'all how to play Tron right now, okay? Now, before anyone gets their underwear in a twist, this is hyperbole. So you play Tron like this. You say, tower, mine, power plant, Karn! And that's how you play Tron.
See, when we originally made that joke with our friends, they did it way better, because the guy who we had at the GP who was playing Tron just pulled out his cards, and he got his cards out. He went, land, Karn! And they just slammed the Karn on the Denny's table, like, super loud. The waitstaff hated us.
The fact that somebody had these nice expensive cards slammed on a Denny's table seems a little obnoxious.
It's the way of Magic, you play your decks, you fail at the BTQ, you go to Denny's because you spent too much money getting there.
Yeah, kinda. That's how we do. That's how you grind, friends.
It only took us about 20 minutes of our actual recording to get here. I'm sure it'll be much shorter on the actual track. But this week we are doing something a little bit different. We are talking about the things we dislike the most in Magic.
We are doing the perfect episode for me, the one who complains the most out of everyone.
I mean, I think we all do our fair share of complaining at the expense of Wizards of the Coast and the game. So,
no, man, we love this game to death, but
I do love this game. It just makes me upset sometimes, It's kind of a rocky relationship. No, R&D is great.
I try to avoid outright attacks on WotC, by the way.
I give R&D as much credit as possible because they have to deal with all the people with their pitchforks and torches saying Oko is a mistake, even though they kind of did mess up a little bit. But
I mean, still. that was a little bit of a mistake.
But I think people freaked out a little too much.
Speaking of things we dislike in Magic, who dislikes the people pulling out their pitchforks and torches more than the actual mistakes from R&D?
Like a 2-3 corpse night?
What?
Small misprint didn't happen again after the pre-release packs, but everyone was like, wow, I can't believe they misprinted this.
Wait, what happened? I'm not aware of this.
There was a corpse night in M20 that was misprinted in pre-release packs that made it a 2-3 when it's actually a 2-2.
Wow. Game is actually unplayable.
Yeah.
Like, how do we even... I'm quitting. I'm going to go play Yu-Gi-Oh!
I'm not going to name drop, but your guys' roommate was like, well, the card says 2-3, so I should be able to play it as a 2-3. They didn't let him do it.
Wait, what? No way. Can't believe the misprinted card wasn't the same as the rules text.
That's weird, man.
Hey, just one last thing on that R&D's Secret Lair. I'm going to play that at every event now.
Oh, yeah, that's a cool card. Wait, no, hold up. That's too positive. I can't say it's cool. This is about hatred.
Anger.
Anger.
All
Okay,
right,
let's move
well-
on. Let's get into the first thing that one of us dislikes. Should we start? Who's going to start?
I think Justin is a good pick. You know, Justin doesn't talk as much because we're always talking about the competitive scene. Let's really give him the spotlight this week.
So thinking of the competitive scene, then I hate planeswalkers. They're stupid.
Why?
That was a big turn there, wasn't it? I think it's just it's too easy, if you ask me. I've done so much deck building, especially on MTGA now, where I'll be at like 58 cards on my deck. Like, let's say it's a red-black deck. I'm like, all right, I got 58 cards. Let's search planeswalkers. And I usually just slap to like, oh, this is just an okay card. It's just too easy. It's kind of like when you play Commander and you don't actually build a 100-card deck. You build a 99-card deck because Soul Ring needs to be in every deck, and so on and so forth.
Doesn't the small Commander Sphere, whatever it is, Commander's Signet, that also has to go in everything now?
I guess so.
Yeah,
Basically,
you're
no
not wrong.
downside.
Oh, it's Arcane Signet, that one.
Arcane, yeah. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
I like planeswalkers as an idea. My issue with them is that they just always seem to become these, like, they're either 100% worthless or they are these value engines that just progressively get you more and more advantage over a game, and they just, even if they don't take over the game themselves, they will slowly work you towards a winning position on their own. And if they don't do that, they're unplayable. That's boring. That's not... If I told you every single enchantment was worthless or slowly crawled you towards victory, you wouldn't play... No one would want to play enchantments.
I feel what you're saying. I mean, there are some planeswalkers that I think are enough in the middle that I'm all right with it. Like the 3-mana Chandra, that's the perfect example of a 3-mana planeswalker. That card is awesome. It does what it's meant to do. It pressures your opponent or pressures their planeswalker. It has some cool utility being able to flashback stuff, and then that's basically what it's used for. It's just good. It's just a good card. It's kind of like a fun Legion War boss variant.
You know what is a really well-designed planeswalker as well? The Domri Raid from War. I don't remember the second part. It's Domri Anarcha-Bolas, I think.
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's good in the decks that want it. It gives everything +1/+0. It helps you cast your spells without getting countered. You get some removal with fighting, but it doesn't actually do anything on its own. It really is. It's like a fancy enchantment. And I kind of like that about some planeswalkers. Like the Wanderer, too. I really like the Wanderer because you can do some like weird combo stuff with it.
The Wanderer's so annoying to me because I keep forgetting about her claws. You know, my idea of an ideal planeswalker goes back to my favorite planeswalker, Elspeth Terrell. The Scars Are Mirrored one. I think it was a second printing of Elspeth, actually. Like, +2, gain 1 life for each creature you control. -2, make 3 1/1 soldiers. -5, destroy all other permanents except lands and tokens. And it's 5 mana, it starts at 4. Like, its plus isn't game breaking. Its minuses are good, but not like, again, game breaking. And it's a little bit higher costed, which a card that should end a game should be.
I kind of don't think planeswalkers work as game enders, and I understand that a lot of them are that, and they have emblems that play around that, or ultimates that play around that. But I don't like the type of gameplay they promote where it's like protect the queen, where you just want to hold off things from killing your planeswalker for 7 turns until they can ultimate and win.
Yeah.
A lot of the good designs for planeswalkers that I can think of off the top of my head, maybe it's just because they're recent, were like the past year, but there was just so many egregious examples like Oko, Teferi, Narset, all these like crazy powerful things that just don't really make sense, that they were kind of overshadowing the unique stuff. The new Garruk is really cool, and the fact that he also enables Garruk Tribal a little bit is also really cool. It's like Gideon of the Trials.
I have a problem with every planeswalker except for one. There's the perfect planeswalker. Chandra Torch of Defiance. Chandra Torch of Defiance is honestly the best planeswalker. Fantastic. Better than Oko.
I'll give you some Is It love here with Ral Zarek, the original one.
Yeah, Ral Zarek's
like
a
him.
really cool one.
I
His-
just like how random he is.
Yeah, his +1 is so weird. That's the other thing that I don't like about Planeswalkers is since they have to come up with 3 abilities, sometimes their abilities are really weird. Like Ral's where it's hidden strings kind of, where you tap something and untap something. And it's just like, what is this meant to do?
You're supposed to play it in Temur Reclamation, obviously, with Lotus Field.
I think the way they meant for it to be designed is that you could swing in with your aggressive Izzet creature and then untap it to block and protect Ral. And then you could tap down one of your opponent's creatures.
Or you can just play it with Stasis and Legacy like it was meant to be played.
Yeah, that's also an idea. It's interesting. I really don't mind Planeswalkers. I just think they're kind of uninteresting at this point. I kind of agree with Justin. It's just, they're so overdone that it's kind of like if every set, like every standard set, we got like a functional reprint of like Thoughtseize or Lightning Bolt. It's like, even though those are classic cards, by the time you saw Thoughtseize 4.0, you'd be like, okay, that's enough. Let's move on. Oh wait, hold up. They already did that. They've done Duress like 12 times.
It only gets over the top if you put the same Planeswalker 3 times in one set. Oh.
Yeah. It's just they sell. Like the casual players, kitchen table players love them. So it's like they sell so well and they sell packs, so they keep making more of them. It's just, it feels like they're so overdone at this point.
Quick trivia on Planeswalkers real quick. Can you tell me the first printing of Vivian? What's that?
Vivian, that was Core 19.
Yeah.
All right, now how many different Vivians have been printed since then?
3.
4.
Answer is 5.
What? Wait, really?
I somehow counted and didn't count the Planeswalker deck ones, because I think I
Yeah.
got the first one, which was in core set, and then I missed the second one, because I think there's a second one.
There are 2 Planeswalker decks, one's an M19 and 20.
Can we, okay, I know this would be a nightmare, but can we take the Planeswalker tag so it's just like a legendary thing that isn't a Planeswalker? I don't know. I don't consider Planeswalker deck Planeswalkers actual cards because they literally told us when they were announced, these are not actual cards, and if you're playing these, we have done a bad.
Yeah, it's like if you're ever playing a Planeswalker deck Planeswalker in your actual competitive deck, then we have messed up on an unfathomable level.
And then Saffron Olive laughs at your Ajani Valiant Protector.
Oh man.
What do you play that in? I can't remember.
The Time Stream Navigator deck.
Oh,
took infinite
yeah.
turns.
Yeah, the down tick is basically Cascade for a creature.
It's not a down tick.
Oh, it's an
It's a
uptick.
+1.
It's uptick for basically Cascade for a creature. So you could get Time Stream Navigator, and then it would go to the bottom of your deck. And then the next turn, you would uptick and Cascade for your next Time Stream Navigator. So, and the only build restriction was you're not allowed to play any creatures, and you have to play Bant.
That's not that hard, yeah.
But yeah, the Planeswalker deck Planeswalkers would never be played.
Yeah, although cards from the Planeswalker decks have occasionally shown up, like Flame Lash.
Yeah, Flame Lash isn't bad.
Well, yeah, it was mostly just a joke there, like how Vivian is now a year and 2.5 years old. Or sorry, 1.5 years old. 1.5 years old.
Yeah, almost 2.
She's
Almost
got
2.
5 printings. Tybalt has been around since 2011,
Oh my
and
goodness.
just got his second printing.
War of the Spark was almost a year ago. It feels like it's been 5 years since that set. Goodness.
Also, just a quick fix here. It was 2013 that Tybalt got printed.
Oh, gotcha.
2012, final answer.
I'm just waiting for them to finally bite the bullet and print a 1-mana Planeswalker. I wonder what they would have it do.
Realized that I could have left high school in 2012 and immediately started playing Magic in Innistrad.
Yeah, I remember going down to the game store and being like, "Oh man, Game Haven is so cool." Then we
Never went back.
actually
Yeah.
played, yeah.
We hung out for one day, and I bought an Alara deck from Target at some point.
Yeah, I didn't buy any cards, but I would go in there. I'm like, wow, the Magic stuff looks so cool. Look at that angel.
They had that big cutout of Lily of the Veil too.
Yeah, Avacyn.
Oh my
and Lily.
God.
It was so good.
There's 4 Huatleys.
Yeah, Hotly. Okay, here's the other thing. I remember when they were doing Oath of the Gatewatch, and they said that they wanted the 5 Oath of the Gatewatch members, the 5 monocolored ones, in every single standard format. And so far, they have pretty much kept up with that.
In their defense, Liliana was not part of the Gatewatch immediately.
They said this, and people were like, hey, we're getting tired of seeing the same characters, because this was not how the Magic storyline had been done. And this is all leading up to something. Don't worry, this is not me rambling. And then they were like, okay, we will print less of the Gatewatch, and we will do more unique characters. And right after that, Ixalan came out. And I loved Angrath to death. I loved him in the storyline. And I hated Huatli. Oh my god, Huatli. I know there's going to be a lot of people who probably didn't read the storyline and are super into Huatli and like, man, she's a dinosaur girl. She's so cool. And I'm like, she is a dinosaur girl and she is so cool. Until you read the storyline and she's just bad. She's not a good fighter. The only thing she does well is tell stories, which is only like a fourth of what she's supposed to be doing.
She's a bard, though. Come on.
Didn't the professor do a video on Huatli? Like one of those after hours things or whatever?
Yeah, I think he did.
Huatli? That might just be a quick watch if you don't know the story.
Yeah.
After you finish this.
Man, I'm nostalgic for Ixalan's story right now. That's another thing that
Ixalan's story was great.
This is a good transitionary sentence of going from, hey, we're hating on Planeswalkers to, man, the Magic the Gathering story has fallen down, or while we're talking about things we dislike.
That's where I was leading with this, and yeah, the thing I hate about Magic, the current state of the story. Wow, I was so into the storyline for Magic from Ixalan onward. I was just reading it all, I was into it, and then War of the Spark onward, man, it's just been bad.
Ixalan was so cool. I remember Angrath and Huatli ended up in, like, stuck together. They had to fight with each other to get to the city at the end of Ixalan's story. And Angrath is just talking to Huatli like she's a child, because she basically is to him. He's like, do you know the number of planes I've seen? You've been stuck here your entire life. You know nothing.
Justin, just don't say anything. Just be really quiet. Make him feel.
I can hear you.
Well, I thought we were moving on to story since...
Do you have anything to say about the storyline, Justin?
I mean, it also kind of quickly stems back to Planeswalkers again, where, like we were talking about with Oath of the Gatewatch, and where they need to have the story in every set, which sadly needs to involve having every Planeswalker in every set. But I'm not as much of a story guy.
This is something that I've learned about the Magic the Gathering storyline too. So the Magic the Gathering storyline has never had like a big overarching story ever since the Mending happened, basically. And even that was kind of not normal. They did lots of like 3 sets, tell a story, we're done. And then that's what they have done forever. And then they did the Gatewatch, and they're like, okay, we're going to have a big overarching story across multiple sets, multiple blocks. It's going to be great. And I think they've kind of ruined that for me. I never want to see an overarching plot in Magic ever again.
Yeah, because it just ended up not being very good. Like the War of the Spark storyline ended, and then we went into Eldraine storyline. I was like, oh, thank God. And like I'm reading about the Eldraine storyline, and it's like, nice. This is just, these are cool characters on their own plane doing some cool stuff. This is nice.
This is something that I think of Into the Spider-Verse, honestly, because it's kind of like you take an Aztec bard warrior person, a literal Minotaur pirate, a engineer from Kaladesh. What's another crazy one? I guess a werewolf, a literal werewolf, and a literal vampire. And you're like, we're going to have all of these people in the same plot line, and we're going to play it very, very straight instead of goofy and weird.
Yeah, I agree, because it's like, I know Magic has all of those things in it, and they're usually played straight, but does no one look around for a second and be like, I mean, I know we're fighting for our lives against a dragon that's trying to eat our souls, apparently, but this is kind of weird. This is a little crazy. I mean, they kind of tried to do that, I feel like, a little bit, but all of their attempts kind of fell flat. It's like, no, guys, you can't do the Marvel thing. You're not that talented. I think you have to go like complete camp or like not camp.
The reason why Marvel works is because it's like comic books, I think. it's kind of presented to you as this thing that's, we're going to take it seriously and it's going to be an actual storyline, but they're comic books, it's superheroes. You can't be like super serious and dark and grim. It just doesn't work. Whereas fantasy and a lot of the themes and things that happen in Magic, I just like look at some of the cards from Innistrad, like Delver of Secrets. Look at Delver of Secrets and see what actually happens in that card, and then imagine trying to sell that to 13-year-olds. Or worse, 10-year-olds in a book that they then read.
Yeah, I think like teenagers can definitely handle some of the darker stuff that happens in Magic, but yeah, you can't really market a lot of it to kids. And I think that's kind of what they're trying to do a little bit.
Going on about that War of the Spark plotline there, you just ignited a thing on my head. Movie The Cabin in the Woods. Have you guys seen it?
It's a great movie.
Oh, of course, yeah, I saw it in theaters.
So, spoiler alert for a 9-year-old movie. War of the Spark feels like the end of that movie. Just the whole ending sequence of that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Where all the monsters are just showing up and it's like, what in the world is going on?
Yes, I'm getting serious now that you guys are talking about like a werewolf and a vampire and an Aztec lady.
Yeah.
It now feels a lot like that movie. If you haven't seen it, and you should go watch it. It's a great movie.
I have one more thing I hate in Magic, okay? Are you ready? Tron. Okay, go on.
Should we go into what I hate about Magic?
Yeah, go ahead.
Anything that isn't tempo. Sorry, I had to.
So I thought we were going to be talking more about specific cards and less like things. So I was just going to say Chalice of the Void and talk about that for a minute.
I mean, I could harp on about specific cards for a very long time. And I agree, Chalice of the Void is kind of bullshit.
I pointed out exactly 202 cards.
Fair enough. I think the thing, if we're going overarching stuff I dislike about Magic, it's stuff like, so people love this game and they really want it to be the best that it can be. And we kind of try to temper our opinions and be not as negative as we can be. But, you know, we're going to share what we are thinking about anything that happens in the game, right? I really dislike this certain subset of the Magic the Gathering community that is just, like, we kind of poke fun at these people. And it's like everyone knows them, but you don't, like, associate with them that often. But they're just really negative. They're the type of people that, like, ask women in the community, like, hey, did your boyfriend build that deck for you? I guess what I dislike is just the people that I wish were not part of the community because they annoy me and are making the game worse. They're the type of people that will chime in and say, oh, well, Oko's killing the game.
You hate toxicity in the game.
Yeah. I hate how toxic this game can get. Yeah, that.
You brought up Oko, but there were people in our store who were also, like, upset that Oko got banned in X format or whatever. And part of that is because they just don't play as much Magic as a lot of other people. So they play Oko once a week down at F&M, and they don't experience day after day trying to grind for qualifier points and just, like, trying to get around this stupid single card, and there's no way to beat it. And you've tried everything you can think of, and everyone on Twitter you follow, from LSV to me, has thought of something to try to beat these stupid cards, and then it doesn't work, and then you just have to go play it.
Yeah, but when you feel that way and you feel salty, you go, well, I guess I'm gonna have to go play this. It's just the way it is. This sucks, but they'll deal with it eventually.
Yeah.
And then there's the other side of, like, grinders and people who play this game a lot, where they will scream and yell at the top of their lungs and they get angry and mad and they just, like, it gets exhausting.
Also, don't get salty when the judge gets called on you.
The community just gets to me. I was just going to talk about Chalice of the Void, but, like, it's weird because people are the best thing about this game, but they're also the worst part, and that's kind of the way life is and the way Magic is.
I agree, and there was fairly recently, there was a woman on Twitter who posted about their experience at SCG Richmond, and it was awful, and completely preventable by people just not being dicks. That's 100% the way to say it. People were just dicks for no reason. And there are some people in this community that are still like that. Somehow, they're still here.
Also, if your opponent, so if you're doing the roll off at the beginning of the game, this is referencing something that woman mentioned in her post. If your opponent asks you to re-roll the dice after you, if they didn't like the way you rolled it, just re-roll it, or call a judge.
If you are at a competitive Magic tournament, do not high roll. Take one dice, tell your opponent to pick even or odd, and then roll it. It doesn't matter if you drop it, because your opponent will just call something. It's completely random.
Yeah, actually, that might be a better one is, guys and ladies, don't high roll.
Stop high rolling. Just stop.
Yeah, and if your opponent insists on high rolling and they do a kind of roll off the fingers thing, person who's doing that, if your opponent asks you to re-roll, they are not being a jerk. Actually roll your dice if you're doing a high roll. Come on now.
Just be decent people.
Be nice if we could have that, but
Come on, let's all be happy.
I mean, this is an episode about things we dislike, so it's gonna have a bit of a negative slant. But we're making it lighthearted, hopefully.
knock knock.
Who's there?
Land.
Oko who?
Land. Land. Corn.
I don't have a problem with Tron.
So here's the thing, and it kind of worries me because I don't like playing Tron, but I really liked playing Mono Green Ramp and Pioneer, so I might enjoy playing Tron.
You are a hypocrite, and you need to stop.
Maybe if I actually played it, I enjoy it, but
I hate the mana acceleration in Modern. Oh, Pioneer, let me play all these lands and mana dorks at once.
it plays like an actual ramp deck. Tron, you're just you grab 3 lands. In the Pioneer version, you're okay, I'm gonna play my Land of War Elves. All right, now I'm gonna go grab 2 more lands from my deck. Oh, and now my opponent did something. Now I have to adjust. Oh, and now I'm gonna ramp a little bit more. And now, oh yeah, I did it.
Yeah, so I don't know how healthy Land of War Elves and Elvish Mystic both being legal is for the format. We'll have to see. But I do like the fact that I can interact with my opponent's ramp, whereas with Tron, it's all in the lands. If you don't have a Stone Rain or a similar effect, you just can't stop them.
Yeah, you can just you can counterspell them, you can mess up with their Land of War Elves, you can Thought Seize them and take their... There's more points of attack in the Pioneer version, I think, is my reason I like it. It feels like I'm doing more interaction, even though I'm just kind of ramping.
Yeah.
It just feels more fun to be okay, I have to actually think about what my opponent is doing. Do I want to play a ramp spell right now, or do I want to, do something else? Am I safe to play a ramp spell? Is it just going to get censored? It's not just resolve a map and have the other 2 in my hand.
Hey man, don't take it to heart.
Don't take what to heart?
Just don't take it to heart.
I'm taking it to heart. I'm learning from this experience right now how to play my decks better. Here's something else I hate in Magic: counterspells. No, I actually really want Magic to be more powerful in general, but I'm tired of things getting banned, and it's a weird place to be in.
Yeah, you're on a tightrope with that kind of...
Well, I want powerful things like Lightning Bolt and Counterspell and Diabolic Edict, which they literally printed, and it didn't break Standard. It didn't break Modern or Pioneer.
But get Oko out of here.
I think it's a difference in... It's just the difference of how things used to work in Magic to where they are now. And I'm kind of the opinion that Magic's better when it has things like Lightning Bolt. Actually, that's kind of transitions into something I kind of dislike about Magic that I wish they would work on is a lot of the colors have kind of lost their way from what they originally were, especially green. Green is ridiculous right now. Green just does everything. It's so weird.
There's certain pieces of that are just modern game design being more effective to let people who enjoy playing green and that style of deck do things that are just good in the game, like drawing cards. And then there's also the side of it where this game is broken into 5 colors for a reason. That's how it's designed. You should let them be unique.
Yeah, everything's kind of homogenized a little bit. They still all do their own things at base. It's the commons and uncommons and rares all do their things, right? As they should. And then you have, the powerful cards, the mythics, to just say no. I think my best example is like every color gets card draw now to some extent, which wasn't really a thing. And it's like red still is the only color that gets direct damage, but a lot of the cards just seem kind of homogenized, you know what I mean? Like there's the white Wrath that draws you a card. And I'm just like, I know we need to make white good, but why does white draw cards now? Since when?
Well, that was supposed to be a downside. It's like, which is kind of white actually. White is all about the
balance.
The individual and balancing, and so destroying everything and then giving you back a card. That's kind of white. But
it also draws you a card because it's equal. So I guess that kind of makes sense, but
yeah, that's not considerably outside of the color pie, I don't think.
If you want to talk about breaking the color pie, let's look at Veil of Summer.
Veil of Summer and being uncounterable, that's green. Being hexproof, that's green. Hating on blue and black, that's also green. But yeah, what is it? Why did it draw a card, guys? I want to think of like more not as recent examples of this, because it was happening back in like Kaladesh.
Well, green didn't used to get card advantage back in the day. Green's card advantage was it could pull creatures or enchantments out of the deck, or like it could get creatures and enchantments, but it didn't draw. It could search things, or it could pull them from the top of the deck. And the way you would get card advantage with green was that your creatures just were better, so you could 2-for-1 people. And then you had stuff like Tireless Tracker, which makes clues that draw you cards, and it's like, that's a blue creature. That doesn't make sense to me.
So, just to kind of butt in with the card draw debacle, I think it was Richard Garfield. It was either Richard Garfield or Mark Rosewater, I believe. Don't quote me on that. That was saying that card draw was just too powerful to just keep into one color. So that was one thing that they were trying to make more ambiguous between all colors, is because it's just too powerful of an effect to get stuck into one color.
I kind of agree, but I think stuff like Collected Company is a way that you can give green a way to draw cards. Because Collected Company draws you cards. It draws you 2, but they can only do creatures. So it has a limitation for it being in green. If you give green just ways to draw cards, or white just ways to draw cards, then it makes them different, I guess is what I'm getting at. It's like, that's why green is so good right now, is because it does a little bit of everything.
I think I get what you're saying. The fact that, like, Tireless Tracker makes clues, which then draw you cards, is not okay. But Winding Way, which says I'm going to take all lands or all creatures, that's okay, because that's more green.
Yeah, and they did this back in the day with stuff like Balance. White didn't draw cards, it took your cards away by bringing you to where it was. So white could keep itself at low lands and play out like a couple of stuff and pressure you, and then if you tried to get ahead, it would make you sack your stuff to keep you where it was. That type of design can still be done today. And black draws cards but has to give other things up. Or red, well, red was just either faster than you, or, you know, they still do rummage and looting with red, where it doesn't necessarily get card draw, but it gets card selection. And it's just like, that type of stuff can be balanced and can work. I think they just kind of threw in the towel a little bit. I don't know. I'm not in R&D, so
I can't think of a green card right now that just draws cards, though. I guess Oro, but it's not just straight green.
Setesian Training.
Oh, Setesian Champion does, too.
Yeah, but Setesian Training specifically is a mono green card that is in standard right now and draws you a card.
Every card in the Feather deck.
Green also gets scrying right now with the with Trail of Crumbs.
I actually don't get that. No, Trail of Crumbs doesn't scry. It effectively scries.
You look at top 2 and put a permit into your hand when you pay 1 after sacking a food.
It has to be a permanent.
But green also gets a deck manipulation. Like, that's not something that's ever got before either, for good reason.
Yeah, but it didn't get literally scry. It got look at the top 2 and then you can take a permanent.
I may be wrong, but it could have gotten scry in last Theros.
It may have.
Scry feels weird for it too, but I guess that's just a keyword.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm not like a master game designer. I'm just making observations.
Yeah, it's gotten a few cards with scry on it.
Gosh dang it. I mean, like, the best card advantage spell in this format is green-blue, which is still blue, but, like, you really think blue is going to be using Hydroid Crisis?
I'm still just upset they didn't reprint Sphinx's Rev.
Oh my lord, I just realized you guys are probably losing it over Season of Growth,
Oh, Season of Growth?
where you scry and draw with
Oh,
green.
yeah, I guess that is a thing, huh? See, it's so weird. It's just like, I don't know. It's just feels like we live in this like dystopian future of Magic where we're constantly like plane shifted every card, like color shifted. You know?
Harmonize used to be a weird card, and now you could reprint Harmonize into Standard. I don't think anyone would blink an eye.
Dude, maybe we're getting a harmonized reprint. I don't think it would even get played right now because you got like Hydroid Crisis.
Just saying, with the harmonized reprint, I don't want to just randomly chuck this in here, but Mark Rosewater has confirmed an Oubliette reprint.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. That's cool.
That's great
Sorry
for
to
Pauper
interrupt
and
there.
terrible for Standard.
Can I talk bad about the community for one more second? Everyone who's not playing Pauper, what are you doing with your lives? While we're talking about things we dislike. Pauper should be so popular.
Popular.
Okay, here's something I dislike. The format selection for PDQs. I want to play a Pauper PDQ, and there are none.
Yeah, there's the Pauper challenges and prelims online, but they don't really... Yeah, I want to play a paper Pauper PTQ. Say that 3 times fast.
There's been one. It was at Vegas last year.
Yeah. There was one at LA. And it's weird, though, because they say that they make their decisions based on attendance. The Pauper PTQ, the first one they did at LA, was packed.
All right. So, I think we've gotten it all out, guys.
One last thing. I don't want this to be a really long one, but I just don't like people who hate cards. Like everybody who complains about Blood Moon.
People who don't like Blood Moon in Modern, I don't get. It's a stopgap for the format. It really is.
Or Chalice of the Void.
Hey, no, Chalice of the Void is the opposite of fun.
I don't like Chalice. But Chalice is a bit too far.
Cantrips didn't hurt anybody, okay? Lightning Bolt never hurt anyone.
Cantrips didn't hurt anything. Grape shot you for 30.
I would be 100% more happy with Chalice if it was a card that said, I don't even know. It needs to be worded in a way that I can always demolish it or abrade it.
You know how you always demolish it? I'm going to give you guys a little pro tip here. I was playing a unexpected results deck on MTGO, and a mono red prison guy decided to think he was funny and Chalice for 1 on turn 1. So then I proceeded to play a Llanowar Elves into it, and then cast a free summoning trap, and get an Emrakul the Aeon's Torn off of it. So, I'm just saying, Chalice is kind of a good thing sometimes.
Free counterspell? Fantastic!
I think if you fixed it so that Chalice, it counters spells unless they counter it, or unless they target Chalice.
Yeah, something like that. Because the problem is that you play Chalice and it's not a disruption piece, it's a lock piece. And if lock pieces are really good, they just make for boring Magic. Everyone has had that one mono red prison matchup where they lock you out and you're like, okay, I just need to see a win con and I'll concede. And then they never draw the win con?
Yeah, that's the worst part about playing against prison is it's like, once I'm in the lock, I'm not going to concede because there's the chance I could draw the one card in my deck that could fix this. But they're going to take 20 turns to draw their dang Chandra.
Yeah, I will even concede. I just have to see one thing that will eventually kill me. Because there's probably an out in my deck somewhere. It's feasible that in 20 turns I draw one. And I had a game of Storm where the person put it on 2 and locked themselves out of the game.
They thought that Chalice on 2 would stop you?
Well, they put it on 2 and we just sat there staring at each other until I drew 2 Aria Flames.
See, that's the other thing is that people constantly play Chalice against Storm, and it's like not that bad, but I've won in the face of a Chalice because I just ritualed up gifts, got more rituals, and they had it just on 1, and then I just cast the cantrips into the Chalice to get Storm up and killed them.
Yeah, I don't mind Chalice of the Void, honestly. I know Jordan hates it, but I don't mind lock pieces. But win the damn game.
Honestly, the main reason I dislike it is just because I don't like things that stop me from interacting. I really like having a back and forth with my opponent. I don't like something that just says, you don't get to do this. That's the reason I don't like Teferi.
But you love counterspells?
Counterspells can be interacted with. You can play things that either give your stuff uncounterable or you can play around them. And we haven't had a good counterspell for 10 years, so really counterspells aren't that big of a deal. They're not hard to play around or play with. But just playing a Teferi that says, oh, okay, you don't get to play on my turn anymore. That's like the opposite of fun for me. Or a Chalice that says that my cantrips get countered because I'm playing lots of cantrips because I like them.
Reminds me of the time that I was playing Commander down at our shop. And someone played, it's a card that just says, it basically says you randomly select who gets the next turn. And I said, oh God, not this card when he played it. And he's like, why? It's fun. And I'm like, hold on 1 second. See what happens. And they rolled, and the guy playing Dino Stompy got 6 turns in a row.
GG, friends.
And I went, was that fun for you? And he went, no. I'm like, take that card out of your deck, please.
Sometimes it could be fun, but like a lot of cards like that can be randomness can sometimes not be interesting.
I was about to say, the one card everybody hates that I just love with everything is Possibility Storm.
I like Possibility Storm. I think it's interesting. The main problem is that I don't like playing it in paper because it takes too long to play.
So there are certain cards in Commander that are fun to play until someone has a bad deck. Possibility Storm is one of them. If I am playing... My best example was I was playing a monocolored deck and someone played the one card that turns everything into islands slowly.
Oh, Quicksilver Fountain.
Yeah, and the thing is, I had no way of putting out more lands because I was in mono black. I had very little artifact mana because I was in mono black. It was mono black rats. Mm-hmm. So I just sat there with a bunch of islands while everyone else got to play Commander, and I just watched them.
That's when you concede.
I was about to say, that sounds more like a gripe on Quicksilver Fountain than Possibility Storm, but I do get your point.
I like cards that disrupt you, but you still get to play your deck. Possibility Storm does not let me play my deck. It says, I'm going to take what you want to play and switch it with a random thing.
See, I kind of like that. I think it's fun.
That's what I like about it. And you can also play with it. You can play like Metallurgic Summonings and play with the Possibility Storm.
Yeah, I think Possibility Storm is interesting. I like it.
But how are you going to resolve Metallurgic Summonings when Possibility Storm is on the battlefield?
You play it before.
So you have to be planning for your friend to play Possibility Storm?
Oh no, I played him in the same deck.
You're terrible.
Because you go Metallurgic Summonings and you cast a 5-drop sorcery. You make a 5/5, and then you hit like Part the Water Veil, and you make a 6/6 and take an extra turn. So you just made 11 power and an extra turn out of 5 mana.
See, that's what I call fun.
I can't remember who said this to me. So if you remember, tell me so I can credit you later. But they said, why are you the spiky one on the podcast? You don't act like a spike. This is me acting like a spike. I hate your Possibility Storm in your stupid Commander deck. Making it, I just want to play rats. And I can't play rats because everyone keeps stopping me.
But what if you play like Nat Miser and you get an Ink Eyes? That would be awesome.
No, it wouldn't. I wanted Nat Miser.
You do not want to reduce everybody's maximum hand size by 1.
I always want to do that.
Over Ink Eyes.
While we're on the subject of Commander cards we hate, I have 2. And as a blue-red player, people would think I would love these. Eye of the Storm and Jin-Gitaxias.
Eye of the Storm.
Okay, Jin-Gitaxias is fun.
Eye of the Storm should be banned from Commander. I'm not joking. Eye of the Storm, you should ban it right now. Commander Advisory Group, ban it. The only thing... I have
a fun story about that card as well.
The only thing that ever happens with Eye of the Storm is games take about 2 hours longer.
Unless you blow it up. Oh, wait, you can't. Because it eats it, and then the next person gets to cast it, and they don't want to blow up Eye of the Storm.
The whole story was we were at GP Vegas, and 2 of our friends were playing against each other and had Eye of the Storm, and what was the other card? Jake, they had like 2 annoying cards.
I don't remember.
Against each other. I lost my deck at the GP. I went around the entire convention hall, which if you've been to GP Vegas, the convention hall's not small.
Yeah, it's a nice sized one.
Going around that twice, looking at every booth you've stopped at to make sure it's not there somewhere that you might have said it. Going up to the front desk twice, and then going to the Lost and Found, and then walking back, and the game has advanced 2 turns.
I think it was the third turn where Patrick just started shouting at our friend because everything would happen. Like, he would play a spell and start going through Eye of the Storm, and then our other friend would interrupt him with an instant, and then they would have to go through Eye of the Storm again, and someone had put a counterspell under there, so one of the things they could do was counterspell, but then they had to play something else and get the counterspell to counter the counterspell.
This is actual hell.
Yeah,
This is magic hell.
I have no idea why they kept playing it. I literally just conceded out of that game. I saw Eye of the Storm, and I was like, I'm not playing this, we're done.
Like, I lost my deck that I played in that modern tournament. I lost my precious Bogles deck. I was more pissed off that that game was going on than losing my deck.
Dude, hey, so I think we're
I actually ended up getting that deck back, sorry.
I think we're running out of time, so we probably need to cut it out soon. But another thing, while we're complaining, Commander players, do you run into this with your play groups? Do you have certain groups at your store who just want games to take 4 hours? Like, there is a subset of Commander players who just love for games to take all day. And I'm just like, no, just win the game. They, like, refuse to play combos. That way they don't ever win. They have to grind it out. I'm just like, just win.
But I need all of those board wipes so that if somebody gets a big board, I need to be playing Wrath of God Damnation, Planar Cleansing, Hour of Revelation, or is it Revelation? Yeah, Hour of Revelation. Shatter the Sky. I'm missing some Phyrexian Rebirth.
Time Wipe.
I need to play all these cards.
No, I need to play Pernicious Deed with Muldrotha. And even though I don't have a win con, I'm going to wipe the board every turn so no one gets to play until I'm ready.
Ooh, that Land of War Elves is pretty scary. Pernicious Deed X1.
Yeah, so play 2-card combos and win the game. I don't appreciate 2-card combos. I appreciate, like, build something fun that'll get the job done. I mean, I play some janky 2-card combos that are, like, expensive.
Yeah, like Thespian Stage and Dark Depths. The absolute epitome of jank.
Hey. That's a complicated combo to pull off. And that's in Tatiova. That's supposed to be, like, kind of competitive, so it's allowed.
And also, why do people think Merit Lage is an unbeatable card?
Yeah, just play your Caracas, man.
It's not even Caracas. I've had my Merit Lage. I've done the combo 3 times in Commander games.
And then get swords.
Each time, it doesn't even get swords. It gets blinked.
Yeah, Cyclonic Rift, not overloaded. Easy.
Oh, that's
peasy.
even more insulting.
I mean, I have a blink of an eye for that. I save Psych Rift or other things for bigger
It's
fish.
easy as hell.
It got unsummoned one time.
That's
what it was.
Someone's playing unsummoning Commander? What?
The thing is, Merit Lage in regular constructed formats is scary because it has your entire life total as its attack, as its power. It's only half your life total in Commander.
That's why you play Asceticism.
It's big, but it won't even kill you in one hit. And yet, every time I bring out Dark Depths and Thespian Stage, everyone starts counterspelling me.
I know, it's so rude.
In your defense, you could give a double strike.
One time, I tried to make a Merit Lage, and I'm not joking, every other person had a stifle effect.
That's because our store is filled with control players. They just don't want to admit it.
Okay, so apparently that's the other thing we hate is Commander, but we also love it because it's a beautiful, abusive relationship.
Yeah, I will play Commander. I just don't want my games to last more than an hour.
Again, that's why you gotta play combos. I know you don't like 2-card combos, but they're a necessary evil.
If we need a snack break for our game, someone needs to concede.
If I can take a snack break and 3 turns, like 3 people have not passed their turn, the game needs to end.
Oh, also, just concede in Commander. If you're locked out of the game, not gonna get back into it, and your opponent's got a bunch of 10-10s, it's fine. Just concede.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're gonna concede, right?
Yeah, we're gonna concede this, and we are going to end with a little bit of positivity. You guys remember your bands, the things you hate?
I don't want to unban.
Tell me why it needs to be unbanned.
I don't.
Snapcaster needs to be unbanned because it's a player's tour card, and they don't want to give it negative rep that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example using Justin's. Snapcaster needs to be unbanned because it's an iconic card that's fair and interesting to play with.
All right, now you were right on one of those. I'll let you guess which one it is.
Yeah, I know you're trying to get me to be positive, but I am not going to say that Teferi was anything but a mistake, because Teferi is a mistake.
On the bright side, we get to make $80 off of it.
That is nice. We have a foil alternate art Teferi.
Its plus ability is okay.
Yeah, actually, the plus ability is not broken. That is nice.
It's quite fun.
It's just, look, 3-mana walkers that actually do good things. Like, Chandra's
Never been made.
Never been done before. Chandra is the perfect blueprint of a good 3-mana planeswalker. Everything else that you can do with them, you got. I'm not gonna say you can't do them, but you gotta be careful.
My lilies have things to say to you.
Yeah, Lily of the Veil is pretty powerful. How about instead of unbanning Teferi Time Raveler, which I think shouldn't exist, we'll unban Teferi Hero of Dominaria, because that's a good card. That's fair.
Oh, can I unban Splinter Twin?
If you'd like, but
yeah,
unban
Splinter Twin.
Stay tuned for that. Maybe we have some videos in the works.
Maybe we might have some ideas.
Kind of related to that, the reason why Tron should stay unbanned is so that I have a reason for Twin to be unbanned, because man, Tron would not do crap with Twin around.
That's the thing about Tron. It's never like the best deck. It's always like second.
It's just always there.
It's stuck in second and third place. It's always going to medal. It's just not going to get the gold very often.
Unless your name is Thoroff Savarin, which I just butchered your name. Sorry, man.
I cannot wait to remand some cards again. Please give me back Splinter Twin.
All right, everyone. That has been us. We have been the Unbanned Podcast. My wonderful hosts are Justin. He's dubious_Justin on Twitter, dubious_Challenger on Twitch TV and YouTube, and I am going to pay him to change his name on Twitter soon. Jordan has been IsItFox on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and here. He's great. Go follow him. And I'm your host, Jake the Jackal. I'm Jake the Jackal everywhere. Just type me into Google. I'm the only one. The only one. And if you search for me on YouTube and see the one hedgehog guy, who was a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, his name is not Jake the Jackal. I'm the only one. The other ones don't exist. I'm banning them.
That's oddly specific.
Hey, as we're heading out, viewers, go type your name and the hedgehog into Google. You're welcome.
Also, I can't change my name to dubious_Challenger on Twitter because there's a character limit.
Should be Dubious Justin everywhere then.
That's stupid.
Then you would match me.
I've already got my branding.
All right, anyway.
Already got the branding.
Anyway.
I've got the branding.
And we would like to thank you all for listening this week. If you like the show, just follow our YouTube channel, follow our, iTunes page. Check out our Patreon if you want. And maybe we'll read your name live on the cast. I don't know yet. We haven't decided. I'm just throwing out there.
This week's patron of the month is Jordan.
Thank you for this honor. If in all honesty, if we get patrons, I will sing all of your names beautifully into the mic.
Wonderful, Jordan. Give them a taste really quick.
I got stage fright.
Okay. Thank you to our patron Giovanni.
Thank you to our patron. Thank you to our patron.
Our Pedro patron.
Thank you to our patron Guzma.
It's your boy Guzma.
All right.
We're done.
You missed me dabbing 6 times.
Wish us
there.
luck in Phoenix, everybody.
Oh yeah, if you see us in
great.
Phoenix,
Back on Phoenix.
Say hi.
Jordan, you just can't give up Phoenix, can you? It's not good in Pioneer.
It'll be great.
I wish it were.
It'll be great. See you guys.
Bye. I love you.